sonar, new contact bearing 329, designated Sierra 1.
Make depth 458, dive I.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
Con, sonar reports ice ahead.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3. Con sonar, new contact bearing 025, designated Sierra 4. Shoot. Con sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as submerged submarine. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2. Con sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as submerged submarine. Con sonar, Sierra 4 is classified as biologic.
Shoot 2-4. Aye, sir. Shoot 2-5. Aye, sir.
Come right to 051, helm high. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire. Con, fire control, we've lost the wire. Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Passing 200 feet.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Passing 400 feet. Passing 500 feet.
Shoot 2-5. Aye, sir. Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Passing 600 feet.
Con sonar, Sierra 4 is cavitating. Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 292. Con sonar, lost contact, Sierra 1, last bearing 295, contact breaking up. Con sonar, torpedo in the water, bearing 287.
Back emergency, maneuvering aye. Make turns for 0 knots, maneuvering aye.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 359, designated Sierra 5. lost contact. Last bearing 003. Contact faded.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Make depth 60 feet, dive I.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 056. Designated.
Make depth 60 feet, dive I.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
Raise the radar mast.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
Con, dive at 60 feet, dive I.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 1.
Shoot 2-4. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Up scope. Downscope.
Come left to 299.
Lower the ESM mast.
Make turns for 2 knots. Maneuvering I.
Shoot 2-5. Aye, sir.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as submerged submarine. Con sonar, new contact bearing 004. Designated Sierra 2.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 108.
Shoot 2-4. Aye, sir.
Con, helm, steady course.
Con, torpedo room, tube 5 ready.
Shoot 2-3. Aye, sir. Con, fire control. Unable to fire. Shoot 2-5. Aye, sir. Con, fire control. Unable to fire. Con, fire control, we've lost the wire. Con, fire control, we've lost the wire. Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Passing.
On. Officer damaged. Unable to contain the flooding.
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 8 knots.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 041. Designate.
Make depth 60 feet. Dive high.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 050. Designated Sierra 4. Come right to 053. Helm I.
Shoot tube 6.
Con, sonar reports ice ahead.
Con sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as submerged submarine.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1.
On. Pumps have been repaired.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 2.
Con, dive at 60 feet. Dive.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
Make depth 60 feet. Dive high.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir. Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 071.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 4. Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 3.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 077.
Con, torpedo room, tube 5 ready.
Shoot tube 5. Aye, sir.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 081. Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 093.
Con, torpedo room, tube 6 ready.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing. Con,
sonar, noisemaker bearing 106.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 4, last bearing 084. Contact breaking up.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing.
Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing. Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 099.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing. Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 118. Con sonar lost contact, Sierra 2, last bearing 117, contact breaking up.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing. Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
Raise the ESM mast.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Con, fire control, weapon acquired. Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 019.
Lower the radar mast.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Passing 100 feet.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire. Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
Passing 200 feet.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 142.
Passing 3.
Make turns for 2 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Con sonar lost contact, Sierra 1, last bearing.
Passing 400 feet.
Con, officer damaged. Unable to contain the flooding.
Make depth 60 feet. Dive aye.
fire control, we've lost the wire.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Come left to 050, helm I.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Make depth 60 feet, dive I.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 097.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir. Shoot 2-3. Aye, sir.
Con, dive at 60 feet, dive I.
Damage control party. Lead of the reactor space.
Con, helm, steady course. Con, sonar, torpedo in the water, bearing 104.
On. Pumps have been repaired.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Passing 100 feet. Passing 200 feet.
Con, sonar, lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 099. Contact faded.
Con, torpedo.
Passing 300 feet. Passing 400 feet. Passing 500 feet.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Passing 600 feet.
Come right to 091, helm I.
Passing 600 feet. Passing 500 feet.
Come left to 081, helm I.
Passing 400 feet.
Con, torpedo room, tube 6 ready.
Passing 300 feet. Passing 200 feet.
Con, sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 1.
Passing 100 feet.
Con, sonar, switching to passive search.
Passing 100 feet.
Con, sonar, lost contact. Sierra 1.
Passing 200 feet.
72, helm aye.
Make depth 60 feet, dive by.
Con, helm, steady course.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 1, bearing 099.
Passing 200 feet. Passing 300 feet. Passing 400 feet. Passing 500 feet.
Make turns for 20 knots, maneuvering aye.
Passing 700 feet. Make depth 60 feet, dive by. Passing 700 feet. Con, sonar reports ice ahead. Passing 600 feet. Passing 500 feet.
Come left to 038, helm aye.
Passing 300 feet.
Con,
Passing 2.
Flooding in the torpedo room.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Passing 100 feet.
Con sonar switching to active search.
Con, fire control, we've lost the wire.
Con, maneuvering, making turns for 20 knots. Come right to 131, helm aye.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 103. Contact breaking up.
Passing 100 feet.
Come left to
3, 4.
Passing 200 feet. Passing 300 feet. Surface the ship. Die by. Passing 300 feet. Passing 200 feet. Passing 100 feet. Rig ship for ultra quiet. Raise the ESM mast. Raise the radar mast.
Make turns for 2 knots. Maneuvering aye.
ESM mast. Lower the radar mast.
Con, charging high-pressure air banks after emergency flow. Unable to dive. Con, high-pressure air banks charge complete. Ready to dive. Passing 100 feet. Passing 200 feet.
Con sonar, switching to passive search.
Passing 300 feet.
Make turns for 8 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Con sonar lost contact. Last bearing 310. Contact faded.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Make depth 60 feet. Dive by.
Con sonar.
Con, dive at 60 feet. Dive by.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir. Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir. Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Shoot tube 3.
Lower the ESM mast.
Make turn.
Con sonar, we are cavitating. Con sonar, regained contact on Master 2, bearing 271. Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 012.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
Flooding in the engine room.
Con fire control, we've lost the wire. Con fire control, we've lost the wire.
Con, torpedo room, tube 5 ready.
Passing.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Make depth 60 feet. Dive by.
Shoot tube 5. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room, tube 6 ready.
Con sonar, we are cavitating. Con sonar, regained contact on mast.
Con, dive at 60 feet. Dive by.
Shoot tube 5. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 271.
Make turns for 27 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Passing 100 feet.
Con sonar, torpedo in the water, torpedo in the water, bearing 328.
Con fire control, weapon countermeasure homing.
Flooding in the torpedo room.
Back emergency. Maneuvering aye.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
Passing 200 feet.
Flooding in the engine room.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Flooding in the reactor space.
Con sonar.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Make depth 6.
Con sonar, launch transient from Sierra 4.
Emergency surface the ship. Dive by.
On. Pumps have been repaired.
Passing 200 feet.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Come right to 279, helm aye.
Con, torpedo.
Passing 200 feet.
Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
Flooding in the engine room.